enough talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens and the rumor that's come out from Elliot Friedman that Shea Weber's contract might be on his way out
Mm-hmm.
for cap relief for other teams. I don't know how that works, but that's the NHL for you.
Yeah,
Um,
LTIR. It's a beautiful thing.
exactly. So apparently his cap hit is 7.9, but the cash is only 6 mil. Just $6 million is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If teams that were who either I wouldn't be surprised if some teams who either need long term injury room or want to get to the cap floor are and aren't looking to spend a ton in the next couple of years take a look at the Weber's contract. And he pointed out that Minnesota might be a team that would be interested because that would free them some cap space. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would be able to make another move for the year after, for the same, sorry, not the year after, but the trade deadline there.
Yeah.
Um, I, what do you think of this?
I mean, like that's basically just how it's gonna be. Like you got a player like that who's making like his cap hit is we'll just call it 8. It's 7.8, but we'll just call it close to 8, right?
Sure. Well, 7.6.
Like
7.9, sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's 8 million.
yeah, 7. I guess yeah, 7.9 if you want to
Sorry, no,
round
you're
it down.
right. You're right. I'm sorry. I thought it was 7.6. You're
Yeah,
right.
rather just say
7.9.
8, you know.
8 is 8 is a lot better. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of money that's being freed up on your cap space. And again, yeah, looking so he's owed 6 mil this year. Starting next year becomes 3, and then the final 3 years is 1 million each. So yeah, really anyone like that contract could be going anywhere. Even Arizona could pay that money.
Yeah,
Crying out loud.
that's true.
So yeah, it's basically it's that exactly. It's whoever wants to pay. And like I think, sorry, I keep cutting myself off, but it's because I just keep thinking of different things. And like for Montreal, I think this is great for them. Like you're basically gonna have teams outbidding each other just to try and get a contract they're never gonna play again. So like depending on like how who wants it, like cap relief more, it's like yeah, who knows? Like, could you see a first round pick?
No,
Like, could you see Shea Weber being traded for a first?
no,
Probably
my
not, but no, but you know what I mean? Like I'm just going to like extreme hypotheticals, but like you just to kind of paint my picture
yes.
of you can maybe a second, maybe a third,
That's
maybe
why.
two
That's what I was
thirds. Like
thinking. I
who
was
knows?
thinking the second. The second would definitely be the second and the third would be possible,
Yeah,
depending on the team, if
because
it's a competing team or not.
but even a first wouldn't be too far off too, because when you think about it, like eight, like again, just calling it $8 million here, like that's for any team, that's like a first line player that
Hmm.
you could bring in now because you have that money on LTIR that you're now able to spend over. So
Yeah, but I'm confused to how it works because if you're bringing this guy in, right,
mhm.
and you already are close to the cap, how does this guy give you minus $8 million?
Because so when you put a player on the LTIR, that money,
But
there's like a
they would still be at the same point that they are, right? Because like so, if the team's $2 million from the cap space, from
mhm.
the limit, right, the
Yes.
ceiling, and then they bring in this guy, they can't put him in, so they put him on LTIR. Wouldn't it just be
Yeah.
the same position that they are anyways?
No,
It wouldn't,
because
because when he's back, then it would be back to $7.8 million that he's owed.
well, it
But
would be so it's basically it's prorated. Like the cap hit, so it's for basically however much time he misses,
uh huh.
that is how much cap hit is relieved.
Hmm.
So like I'm looking at Tampa Bay right now because they have Brent Seabrook who they just acquired this past off season,
Yes.
who's making 6.8. Again, we'll call it 7 just for simplicity's sake. So now with him like being his career, he's basically he's he's the Shea Weber from a few years ago. Like he's
Yeah.
done playing. He's never going to play again. His contract's already been passed around. So now Tampa Bay for this year, next year, the year after could go $7 million over the cap because of just him his contract being on the LTIR.
Terrible.
And like anytime like basically so the LTIR, I think the minimum you have to be out is 28 days. So basically like teams use that like obviously when a player is going to be out for like more than a month, they put that player on LTIR because it helps you save, even if it's just the minimum 28 days, you're still saving that cap space, which in the end will make a difference.
If you're if you're the Leafs, for example.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at the league, a lot of teams are cap strapped nowadays. Like I just mentioned Tampa Bay, like Vegas is up there as
Oh
well.
yeah,
Montreal actually currently has the highest projected cap hit, but again, that's because they're using the LTIR
that's right.
already.
That's right.
I mean, even you look on cap friendly here, like at the amount of teams with injuries and how many of them are using LTIR, like it's almost half the league, at
Oh,
least for sure. At least a good third of the league is utilizing LTIR as we speak.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's a thing, and it's not going away. I don't think it should go away either. I mean, when a guy is legitimately injured for more than a month and he will come back and play, I do think that, the team should get some relief because that's now a player out of your lineup who you would have been paying.
Hmm.
So I think it's a good idea, and I don't know. I love teams that exploit it. I'm all for exploits. So, the more you exploit it, the better you are in my books.
Better. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Ah,
exploitations.
this one is interesting, but PK Subban, his contract is coming up this year.
Okay.
Okay, he only since the season, once we hit trade deadline, it'll be about 60 games left. His contract would only have $2 million left. The New Jersey Devils aren't really in a position to be in a playoff. They're not in a playoff position. No,
No,
it's too
not at
competitive.
all.
It's too competitive in the Metro to for them to do anything. Yeah, and they splashed hard with Dougie Hamilton, and PK Subban being a right-handed defenseman could raise some eyebrows for certain people. Um, would you see the Toronto Maple Leafs acquiring a guy like PK Subban?
At the deadline, no.
No.
In the off season, maybe. I'm not closing the door on that. It's obviously, yeah, it's very clear that they need defensive help
Do you
and
think that he
right-handed
would be
shot.
a fit with the Leafs?
Uh,
He's got 18 points this year, -7. That's not bad, all things considered.
no, it isn't.
It's
I
currently
mean,
his best season in New Jersey. Not point.
yeah,
Yeah, actually, yeah, best season currently.
everything wise, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Again, it's not really saying much, but
No.
I mean, yeah, he's a shell of his former self. You're not gonna get the PK in Montreal when he won a Norris and all that, which again, I don't think anyone who expects that, you're expecting the wrong things.
That's right.
So get that out of your head right now. But I mean, that's the thing. If he can be like a third pairing guy, like I think that's what he's kind of become. If especially if he's gonna be on a contender like the Leafs, like he brought up, if it's that, then yeah, he's gonna have to be a third, probably second pairing guy because he's PK, but
Right.
he's getting older too. He's gonna be 33 next season, or he's gonna be 33 in May. So yeah, next season he'll be 33 years old. Um, I mean, yeah, I see him more as a third pairing guy, especially now, just the way the years have gone. He's kind of has to like prove himself again. But again, there might be a team that does offer him a decent contract, like who knows, maybe like 5 million or 4.5 million, just to
Yes,
be
this
like,
is Philly calling.
yeah, hey, Chuck Fletcher here. I heard you're a free agent. I'd love to give you a 5x5.
Jesus. Wow.
So, um, no, going back to the main point about Subban, yeah, it would be interesting to say the least. I don't know. I don't know if the Leafs are pursuing him. I don't know if he's a guy who. I don't know if he. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he has interest in playing with the Leafs. Like they're a good team. A lot of people would want to play for good teams, but it's more so like I don't. Again, I just don't know. I think right now, obviously, it's hard to look ahead to next year when the focus is still on this season.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me. Um, So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting though. That just to keep that in mind though for like, as the months go on and we get closer to the summer. That would be interesting to talk about and just start hearing maybe some rumors going on about his future. That would be interesting.
I think he could be like a Wayne Simmons, but for your defense.
Yeah, that's
Not the same role. We're not; these are not the
yeah.
same players, but he is Toronto native, and he played with Tavares, right? Uh,
Yeah, I believe they're the same age. They were drafted same
Stamkos,
year.
Tavares, they were all playing together.
Oh,
So
sorry. Subban's actually he was drafted a couple years before them, so he's a bit older. But yeah, they all played same time. They all know each other. They played on junior teams together too, I believe. So
I wouldn't be surprised if he signed like a $1.5 million deal for 1 year.
yeah, like a prove me contract. I think that's a very realistic option. You take the 1 year, no more than one and a half.
Fine.
I think that's correct. I think winner Gagnon.
Winner Gagne.
Am I pointing? No, I'm pointing to the wrong side. There.
There you go. And then
That's just an endless void on this side. We don't talk about this side.
no, there's nothing there.
Oh,
Oh, oh Lord,
I don't want to look there either.
I don't want to look this way either because oh my, oh Jesus,
Yeah, we again, you don't talk about
that's
that side. I don't talk about this
God.
side.
JT Miller supposedly he is no longer in trade talks.
Yeah, I heard his quote the other day about him saying like as of now like it was basically just typical players saying like oh I'm gonna stay here, I'm committed here, and but I guess if he did talk with the GM, and I know he did say he was speaking with his agent and they just go along their day-to-day business, but he said none of that has included trade talks. But again, that could just be the player keeping things hush hush. Like again, you never know. GMs could make decisions last minute and I don't know, surprise everyone, including the players themselves.
He's having
So
himself a good uh year, all things considered. That the Vancouver Canucks themselves are not. I mean, they are. Sorry, their resurgence ever since they switched out
mhm.
their coaching and they looked uncertain, especially with the GM. It took them a while to get the general manager in, um, but yeah, it seems as though he's to be staying put in Vancouver, just maybe because there's not much out there.
Yeah,
It's not a seller's market. It's a buyer's market, I believe.
exactly. Yeah. So like if in price of like let's say a first and a prospect, and no one's willing to pay that. Although I mean I think that's a good like I don't know. Whatever the price is, right? If no one's willing to pay it, then yeah, then it's just not meant to be. You hold on to him. You hope next year the team could turn things around and he becomes a part of your. Obviously, he becomes someone you want to keep and you can move forward with from then. Because then that's the thing too. He has 1 year left after this year, so if he's staying in Vancouver, and then for the Canucks, it's all about if you want to keep him, giving him an extension. What does that extension look like? He's currently making 5.25 against the cap. He's proven himself to be a very good player. 63 points in 55 games,
No,
including 22.
67 points in 56 games.
Oh, so this TSN trade bait list needs to be updated then.
That's right.
Um, yeah, so even better. Including how many of those are goals. It's got 22 on here. It might have been 23 or
So
24 by now.
he signed until next year he's gonna be a free agent.
Yeah, at the end of next year, exactly. So that's why it's kind of, I guess it's similar just to a lesser extent, but like with Arizona with Jacob Chikrin, how like he's like the big talking point, and like he could move. There's a very good chance he moves, but he's also on contract for 3 more years at 4.6. So if you're Arizona, do you believe in your team that by the end of those 3 years you can be good and he'll be a player that you will keep and he'll be useful to the team, especially at 4 picks. You can fill in so many spots around the lineup just to be a solid team, right?
Mm.
When you're paying a guy like that so little. So yeah, it'd be interesting. But with JT Miller, yeah, as of now, sounds like he's gonna stay. But again, things could change, man.
This is
things
true.
could change.
Things could change, and his career so far in Vancouver has been successful. His
Hmm.
highest point total, 72, has been it was with Vancouver. Um, it's I think he would want to stay there. He's definitely looked at as a captain in the locker room. When
Hmm.
things weren't going well, he was voicing now his opinions. He was saying, "What the hell are we doing here? What the hell is this? What's going on?"
Yeah,
And
well, he's been around, right? Like he's 30 years old. He's been on the Rangers. He's been on the Lightning.
yeah,
So he's been for pretty much his whole career. So yeah, I mean, a guy like that to speak up and help turn the boat around. That's what you need. It's what you need in those times.
right,
You need a guy who's committed to the team, wants to stay, and he does genuinely seem like that guy who he wants to stick around and be part of the Canucks organization for I don't know as long as he can, really. But yeah, going back to kind of like how I was saying, like things could change. Like you see Dallas now, like they're all of a sudden on a hot streak in a playoff spot again.
yeah.
So you got to think a guy like Klingberg probably is off the market at the moment.
Well, I mean, it's not that's not true because that's if he doesn't want to, he's a UFA at the end of the year. So
Yes, that is true.
it really depends on how Dallas feels. If they need to get the value now, they want to get anything out of him, and they know that he won't resign because he has said publicly that he's not happy.
Hmm.
He's not seen as a top two defenseman, and they don't want to pay him Miro Heiskanen money.
Yeah.
Then there's an issue there. All right, right, and about that, Miro Heiskanen is actually injured, or not injured. I think he has mono.
Oh, so he's gonna be yeah, so he'll be out for some time then,
Yeah, he's out
definitely. So then
indefinitely.
yeah, so I mean now if you're Dallas,
They're put in a
again, I
tough
mean
position.
yeah, I mean it's just you got to take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
If the streak continues and come trade deadline in a couple more weeks, let's say like they're in a good position and they feel like they're okay, maybe they hang on to him just to have that extra bit of security. But even like on the flip side, if you're a team that wants to acquire Klingberg,
Hmm.
like if you truly don't believe that he's gonna re-sign with you, I don't know why you would do that. Like I don't know why you would trade for that guy. Again, he's a rental, so you see stuff like that happen. But let's say you're a team that do believe that like you're gonna sign this guy come July 1st, right? Like,
Hmm.
what's the point of trading for him if you're just like, oh, like we can get him on July 1st in the summer, first day of free agency. So I don't know. Again, that's an interesting one. Um, it's so hard. I don't know. Like you've been hearing all these names and rumors going around, and you want to see something happen, especially now that we're within the last 11 days until the trade deadline, and still nothing big has happened. There hasn't been that splash yet, the
That's right.
wave.
We're sort of like, I guess maybe people are fantasizing about what they want to happen. And in fact, I'm looking at this page on NHL here. It says that Kent Hughes told Sportsnet that the Montreal Canadiens are not trying to trade defenseman Shea Weber.
Oh
So
well,
they've
we can
had phone
scrap everything we
calls.
said earlier.
Exactly, they had phone calls. There's a lot of speculations and rumors, and he's not aware of anything there. But
Okay.
it's he says it's not accurate what they're saying. So
Right.
maybe it's discussions, things that oh, how do we do this or that, and could how can we maximize our cap and whatnot.
Hmm. Yeah.
Maybe it was in discussions and Freeman heard it. I don't know with his paper cup phones. He heard it
Yeah,
somehow.
the old the old can on a string.
That's it. So look at that. Just that whole segment gone.
But again, it could not be
That's
because
right. I mean, you put that in someone's head, and then someone wakes up. Hey, wow, this is a great idea.
yeah, he's probably just saying that because he's probably just sick and tired of being asked that on a day-to-day basis. So he probably
Right.
just came out and said like, "Hey, we're not looking to move him right now." But again, it's just right now. The future could open up a lot of possibilities. But even that was the thing too. I don't know if this was mentioned, but like even I should have said this before, but if you're Montreal, like, why would you want to move that contract? Because now that allows you to spend over the cap, and he's not owed a lot of money either. But
Right.
again, if the demand is there, then you might as well trade it if you don't need it. But I think a team like the Habs, where you do have some players getting paid, some fair amount of money, like a contract like that doesn't hurt.
Is there anything you wanted to add to the trade rumors?
No, I think that's it. I think we just wait till like next week will be a couple like 4 days before trade deadline. So hopefully a lot happens in the next week and we'll have something to talk a lot to talk about on that front. That would be
Yes,
nice.
it
For
would
sure the
be
week
nice.
after we'll have a lot that we'll go over basically all the trades and I think that that might even just be a trade deadline show. Who knows?
I was actually we were talking about meeting up on trade deadline. Whether I go see him or he comes
Hmm.
to Oshawa and we meet up here. But maybe we could do something of sorts. I could bring my laptop, bring webcam, and we could do a show.
Oh, like a live stream
Yeah,
or
not a live
something.
stream, but like
Oh,
a live show. It's still the
yeah.
same thing. Like it was,
Yeah.
we upload the same day.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, especially yeah, on trade deadline, that would be cool. Like we can react to things as they happen. Although, oh, man, I don't know. Trade deadlines lately have been duds, so
Well, we
could
don't
be
have
hit
to.
or
We could
miss.
do after.
That's true.
We could do
Yes.
after show. Um, that maybe like at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock after. When does trade deadline? Like when
The
did the
deadline's at 3, but
okay?
usually trades will trickle in until like 5 o'clock because they're all pending the approval.
Yeah. Well.
So like, yeah, usually by like 5:30, I'd say,
Oh,
and all the information's out there. Nothing new's gonna happen.
there you go. You're
So
still.
just yeah.
There you go. Well,
Did you, did
we'll
you get that?
yeah, we got that to an extent. 5:30. We'll figure it out. Hopefully we
Yeah,
can get
of
a
course.
good show coming for you guys for that day.